Hey guys, Chaps here, and welcome to a special edition recap. It wasn't really a developer stream this week, more of a long developer vlog thing, but I figured it was still worth doing a recap on it because it was about 25 minutes long. Just to hit on a few things quickly first, Operation 6 mid-drop information was released today, and it's pretty much what I was expecting. We basically already knew that the Tomb map would be coming. I kind of hoped for 3 characters rather than 2, and the events look fantastic, and this seems to be a huge step up from Operation 6 Drop 1. For more of my thoughts though, make sure you tune in later this weekend. We'll have another livestream panel where I'll be joined by Nash and Omens, Onyx Xavier, and AR Slayer. We've got plenty of topics to cover, and you can bet that we're going to be touching on Op 6 Drop 2. In the meantime though, let's hop into this recap and learn a bit about the new PvE event.
So we are kicking off Drop 2 with a very, very special event called Nexus Siege. So this is an event that I'm really excited to show off today. We're bringing back roughly 15 Locust drone units into Horde. This is going to include a lot of enemies that are going to bring dynamics that have really been missing from Horde for a long time now, and weapons.
First off, I mean, just look at the smile on Michael's face there. You know he's super proud of this, and he knows the fans are going to love this. I honestly can't believe this is happening. I mean, we've been told no for so long now. Granted, it's basically just the drone units, so I don't think there's any boomers or crazy creatures, but still. And 15 of them? Wow, I would have expected like 5 or 6. So, good job, Coalition. This is knocking it out of the park so far.
Nexus Siege is a 10-wave event. There's no fabricator, but you do still get to use your class abilities and cards. It's generally similar mutators to default Horde, but we've included 2 little wrinkles. So we have the Locust units will regenerate health, but the Lambent units will be more aggressive towards the player. So in Nexus Siege, the players are going to see a boss every 2 waves. These bosses are sort of Locust heroes, I guess you could say. And you're going to be seeing a new one every 2 waves. The first one is Karn, and then the second one is Jermod. I won't spoil the last 3.
Okay, so let's think about this. We've got Jermod, then Karn. We know Scourge is in the game, so he's got to be there, right? We're left now with Rom, Mira, and Reyna, who were all in the game. Rom could make for a crazy boss fight, and I sort of picture him on wave 10. Mira and Reyna, I kind of feel like they're more fitting for a wave 10 boss, but I honestly don't know what their abilities would be. So right now I'm guessing it's going to be like Jermod on 2, Karn on 4, Scourge on 6, Rom on 8, and maybe Mira on 10? Maybe Rom will be 10 and something else random on 6 or 8, I don't know. What do you guys think?
What we've done is we've tried to make them really hold their ground against the player. So we have Karn here, he's got like his signature bull talk, it really hurts, so you have to be kind of careful about how you play around him. He plays a bit more defensive, he plays like a bit more like a commander, so he'll be in the back sort of like taking pot shots, but you'll sort of have to advance on him eventually. Jermod is really interesting because I wanted to actually use him as an opportunity to explore what it would be like to have a sniping unit in the game that can actually do an instant headshot on you, sort of similar to how the multiplayer versus works. So Jermod is really dangerous because if he gets that laser on your head and he pulls the trigger, you're dead. So we've really gone back and made sure that we were not just kind of bringing in clones of what we already had, which was sort of a risk in just bringing back like a bunch of drone units in an environment where we already have sort of a lot of swarm drones. So we've really looked for opportunities to find the dynamics and the weapons that were missing, sort of how I mentioned at the beginning, that we really wanted to focus on. So, for example, you sort of have like the bolter, who brings in that bull talk to the game, that brings sort of like this really like high damage threat, at sort of especially sort of in the late game when you bring in sort of the mutators, the poisons. You have the Grenadier and the Grenadier Elite, which obviously bring in the frag grenade threat that's really been missing from Horde for a long time now. And then we have obviously my favorite, the Cyclops. We've brought back the Flame Grenadier. And then one of my favorite units that we brought back was the Palace Guard. I think they're on screen right now. 2 variants of the Palace Guard. We've got Torque Bow and Lancer Palace Guard.
Are the Locust going to make their way into the main Horde mode after this event is over?
Yeah, like, we'll see. It'd be a shame to, bring back 15 new units and not bring them into Horde. So I guess I'll get back to you on that.
So yeah, that's definitely a yes.
So what's really cool about Nexus Siege is that around Wave 5, it actually becomes sort of this three-way battle between the Locust, the Lambent, and the Cog. So at the beginning of the event, you're just sort of fighting the Locust, and then you're fighting Karn and Jerma, and it's really simple. And then all of a sudden the Lambent come in, and
Man, they're just full of surprises right now. This is exactly the way it should be done. It's just not what I was expecting. Like I said, after so many months of being told no, my expectations were just low at this point. So bravo to the team. This is what was needed, and from what I've heard so far, it's all movement in the right direction.
So let's go on to general PvE stuff. So I'm going to throw it over to you to talk about any that you wish, any PvE changes players can expect come the release of Operation 6 Drop 2.
First I wanted to talk about was the juvies. So a lot of people will be happy to hear that we've kind of made an adjustment to the execution delay on the juvies. So before, when you got to around insane or inconceivable, they just become execution machines, and as soon as you go down, they just teleport on top of you and just kill you, and just didn't really feel fair. There's no chance for your teammate to sort of come help you out. So we've turned the execution delay up. We've made some changes to the Sentinel and the Guardian. Problem with these enemies was that a lot of the time they were actually a little tougher than the actual bosses. We've done another pass on the shield health, so it's gone down a little bit. But the change that really makes the biggest difference, in my opinion, is we've increased the delay on the shield regenerating. So, sorry, not regenerating, coming back after death. So when the shield goes away and it's broken, it's going to now take about 6 more seconds than it did previously to come back. And we've also made a change to the elite drones, so we've kind of taken a bit of the edge off of the damage on them. So you shouldn't feel so much now if you expose yourself in cover for a half a second, you're just going to go down. So they're still pretty tough, because we do want to still have them as an enemy that you identify as a threat that you want to prioritize, but they shouldn't just feel so unfair now. By far the biggest change that we've made in Drop 2 is around the combat medic. So the combat medic has always been sort of, we've done a lot of great balance changes in the past to kind of bring all the other classes up to the same level, and it's feeling pretty balanced right now, but the combat medic has always been one that's kind of not quite felt like they were where they needed to be, especially with Jack in the game. Jack is just so good at reviving teammates, and then we have this class in the game that's literally their purpose is supposed to be this medic. So what I really wanted to focus on was seeing sort of, can I bring more reliable and dependable sort of medic qualities to the class.
He talks about the medic and some other stuff here for a bit. Rather than having him say everything, just check the link down below for the blog post. It highlights all of the class changes. If you want more details, feel free to watch the full video.
Yeah, and there's just one more change that we've made to Horde that I wanted to talk about, which is we've made a change to the base mutator set for Horde, which is we swapped out execution rules for aggressive enemies. And the reason why I think this is a really great change is there's a lot of classes in the game, combat medic included, that really suffer from execution rules. There's a lot of bleed damage that you can do that doesn't actually quite finish the kill because you're not standing within execution range. Classes that use sort of assault rifles are really punished with execution rules because you can't finish your kills. You kind of have to pull your snub pistol out and kind of awkwardly try to get the headshot across the map. It's not really a great experience. It's not a satisfying experience. So taking that out has really made Horde feel much more fluid, and it's kind of brought greater balance between sort of the classes, and there's much more opportunities to use a wider variety of weapons. And then bringing in the aggressive enemies mutator is also really made Horde feel much more sort of active and dynamic. So there's much greater importance on sort of having a good engineer, building a great base, because the enemies are going to be coming in a lot faster and they're going to be much more aggressive. So so the bottom line is more weapons are viable, and you're going to have a greater sort of impact on a good engineer is really going to defend the team now from more aggressive enemies that are kind of running in.
And that does it for this recap. While I was watching this, I paused to put out a tweet, and I just want to reiterate some of the stuff that I said in that. I had expected an event with a few Locusts, but Throughout this video, I just kept getting pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of shortcuts that they could have done in bringing the Locust in, but as Michael said last year when talking about why they weren't bringing the Locust in, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right, and that's exactly what they're doing. The event sounds amazing, and was seriously a necessary morale booster for the PvE player base. As for the rest of the operation, including the PvP stuff, well, as I said earlier, tune in this weekend for a community roundtable as we discuss our initial thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching everyone, and I will catch you next time.